It was quite wonderful to get to know them and their quirks and personalities. It was also fun to see them loosen up.
Hello, and welcome to the Arts of Language podcast with Andrew Pudewa, founder of the Institute for Excellence in Writing, or as many like to say, IEW. My name is Julie Walker, and I'm honored to serve Andrew and IEW as the Chief Marketing Officer. Our goal is to equip teachers and teaching parents with methods and materials which will aid them in training their students to become confident and competent communicators and thinkers. Well, Andrew, a lot going on here.
Yes,
at
indeed.
IEW. Yes, so today we're launching this podcast in February of 2020. And so as of the date of this recording, we have launched a brand new series of video courses for students. And we announced this at our birthday party in November.
Yes, the birthday party. That was live broadcast and, of course, still available for viewing on YouTube, anyone who's interested.
Yeah. And during that time, you spent quite a bit of time talking about the history of IEW.
Yeah.
And, of course, a big part of that history were all of our friends who love us, who we love, and their participation with us and your participation in their companies, which was always a delight. But the big event came toward the end of that where I got to walk up and unveil there was a silk tablecloth over the top of some new products. And I was noticing on the comments from our YouTube channel that people were waiting for that unveil to come off. And exactly that time was when we were showing another video. So they didn't actually see me take it off. So I'm sure we should have a clip somewhere of me. I'm sure we have that as a recording of me unveiling our new product line. And of course, we're talking about structure and style for students.
Yes, SSS.
Yes, that's what we call it.
Not to be confused with the decoration, short staccato sentences.
Well, maybe it's a nod to the decoration, or maybe it's just a really cool product that is actually saying what it is, structure and style for students.
Yeah.
So before we talk about that product, I thought it would be helpful for us to talk a little bit about the products that we used to carry, the Student Writing Intensive and the Continuation course, and what the original intent of those courses were. So you had created Teaching Writing Structure and Style video course, and at the end of that course, we have 4 sample lessons where you're teaching a small group of students, and then teachers and parents can say, oh, that's how you teach this to a group of students. Well, with the Student Writing Intensive, you took that idea and expanded it over the course of 4 days. Thus, the term intensive was come about because these students were doing an intensive writing course.
I traveled around the country for several years teaching that in 4 days, Monday through Thursday. Go to a city, 3 3-hour classes back to back. And I think it was probably 2 or 3 years after I started, we had the opportunity to make a set of videos.
Right, exactly. And of course, 4 days of video content was wonderful, but not enough. And so you then created the Student Intensive Continuation course, which was designed to basically pick up where you left off. So you do 4 days of the Student Writing Intensive. And then when you recover from that, you can continue with the continuation course. And that was kind of the plan.
Right. And in the process, over the first few years of selling that, Jill Pike helped us create some what we called the in-between lessons or in-between assignments. So you watch a video, do a few more just like that, watch the next video, do a few more just like that.
Right.
We had the Student Writing Intensive 2001, Student Intensive Continuation 2003.
Right. So that didn't take too long for that to be launched and out there, and it was out for 15 years.
Oh, it's phenomenally successful.
Right. And I just want to read one of the comments we got from, we have hundreds of these. So it's going to beg the question, why aren't we selling this anymore? But we'll get to that. question in just a minute.
It's obvious why we're not going to sell anymore.
Maybe not. Maybe not to some of our listeners. I am writing to thank you for an amazing program and curriculum. If I had asked him to write anything more than a sentence, the eye rolling commenced, and he acted as if it were hard manual labor. Last year, we started with the Student Writing Intensive A, and at the end of the year, when asked what his favorite subject was, my son replied, writing. Thank you, IEW. So lots and lots of comments like this. So it was difficult. It was more difficult, I think, for you.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Kind of idea. These products and programs had just been very, very successful for a very, very long time.
Right, exactly. So what were some of the problems with the product?
Well, I think it first came on our screen when we realized we're coming to the death of the disc.
Mm-hmm.
And these products were recorded long enough ago that they were not originally digitally recorded. They were redigitized for DVD, but you could see the quality of the interlacing was low, and they simply could not be compressed for streaming delivery.
Right.
And then more and more people are saying, well, can't I just watch this online? Don't you have streaming? We're in the Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, everything.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a lot of people, I think the age of my adult children, don't even own a device that will take a disc.
Right.
So looking at that and saying, okay, what do we do if people don't ever want to buy discs anymore and we can't stream it? We've got to replace it. That was probably the original impetus. And then we realized that we had learned a lot.
Yes.
In 16 years of selling a product, answering all the questions, dealing with some of the inconsistencies or things that weren't in perfect alignment with the way, I was saying, this is how you teach it. Well, but on the video, you do it this other way.
But that's because your original intent was to teach an intensive course in 4 days. You were trying to cram as much as possible into that short amount of time. So we forgive you for doing it wrong, but this new course, you do it right.
So, we thought, well, we want to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the in-between assignment idea was good, but people would say, well, don't you have more?
Right.
And so when I think I originally proposed this to you, let's just do a whole year.
Yeah. I about fell off my chair. I was so excited about this idea.
And I had no idea what I was getting us into. So, about 2.5 years ago then, we began recording 3, around 1.5 hour, plus or minus a bit, classes every Tuesday for 24 weeks.
For 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
Which, if you do the math on that, is 144 video classes.
Wow. Yep.
We had, of course, a lot more people involved. When I did the original, it was kind of like me. Mm-hmm. And I had to figure it all out and write the source texts, and I didn't have a paid editor at the time. So there were imperfections, and we've lived with that, and people have been forgiving. This time, we had several people involved in writing the source texts, and the kids were probably the most magical part of the experience for me. We recruited local homeschoolers here in Tulsa. We interviewed them. Mm-hmm. We even did, I think, a little camera test to be sure they would not freeze up or freak out in front of a big video lens.
Yes, it's true. We did.
And we had a total of around 45 kids. Mm-hmm. So there were 12 in the class for each video, and then 3 alternates for each class. And then the juniors were approximately grade 3 to 5. A couple young ones sneaked in. Middle school, grade 6 to 8, and then high school. And it was quite wonderful to get to know them and their quirks and personalities. It was also fun to see them loosen up. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, they were acutely aware. We're on camera. We're under scrutiny. Mm-hmm. It was a little hard to get them to just talk out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But pretty quickly, they warmed up. And I think by the end of it, some of them thought, I have launched my acting career.
Well, and I think that's probably not entirely true because a lot of these kids were pretty charismatic to begin with. You know, we wanted to look for that. But really, as much as the kids added to the course, it really is about you teaching. And we're mindful of, as we're getting the products now ready to launch, we announced the products. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just say this. Level A on this date is ready. Year 1, Level A. Year 1 of Level B and C will be coming out this spring and summer. Year 2, we're working as fast as we can to get it out, but we want it to be excellent because excellence is our middle name after all, right?
Well, I think your motto is good enough isn't.
Good enough isn't.
So, how many people were involved in this project? Dozens.
Well, what I'd like to do, just because you're saying this, I think it would just be fun for our podcast listeners and maybe those who know about this product and haven't yet dived in, whatever the word is, to just play credits. Just put a little YouTube video on. We'll put a link in the show notes of just the credits, who was the star, who performed the stunts, some of these little things that we put in the last week of the product for every year. We just roll credits and we give everybody.
And if anything, if the credits doesn't interest you, you'll like the music.
The music is good, yes. So you mentioned the kids, and I think I wanted to go here just for a moment with the kids. Yes, the kids did a great job in responding to you. What was so, I'm speechless trying to come up with a word. What was so exciting for me was, yes, I knew the system worked. Yes, I saw it happen in my own boys, in my own kids that I taught in the classes, but to see firsthand some of these kids who hated writing now love to write. And, we have a little video on that where they just said, oh, I wasn't very good at it, but now I'm pretty good. That's little Jack. And
well, their self-perception as well as our perception of the change.
Yep.
Now, of course, kids grow up a lot in 8 months, but the level of confidence and quality and just overall ability was quite noticeable.
Yep.
Quite noticeable. And, as always, there's a spectrum. There's kind of high aptitude kids who like writing and it's not hard for them. And they just get better and better and better.
Right.
And, of course, the kids for whom it's been difficult or a disliked thing, I think we had probably 100% conversion rate there.
Exactly. So I think, if I were to identify the 3 things about this course that I would like our listeners to think about when they're considering perhaps purchasing SSS, first of all, it's enjoyable. The kids will enjoy watching you and your antics on video.
Well, you say that because you've watched every single video.
Multiple times.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of them all the way through, and I don't want to.
Well, and parents and teachers, as I'm watching this, I still crack up. I watched you do it live, Andrew. I watched it I'm step 3, 7, and 11 in this process of getting these out the door. And I still crack up when you say things like, if you write fast, it's a sign of intelligence. It means you skip words. I do it all the time. I crack up every time. It's like, I don't know if the kids get the subtlety there.
My youngest daughter, Ellie, she works for us, and one of the tasks she was given included watching some of these videos.
Right.
And one night she was over at our house. She goes, Dad, it's just like God put you on earth to teach writing. Okay, I'll take that one.
So I love that. It's enjoyable. The parents will enjoy watching it. The teachers, maybe a school teacher will get a set of these videos, watch you teach it, and then know what to do the next morning in class. Yeah. That would be the perfect model for imitation. The other thing is, and they'll enjoy watching you, and the kids enjoy watching you. Easy to use. That was one thing that was very important to us when we were developing the curriculum. So we have these wonderful videos, and you provide all the handouts to the students in the class. And it says, look in your student packet for page 35, and there it is, because you're passing it out, and that same handout is available in the packet. And then we have a separate teacher's book that has those same handouts and with extra guidelines, things that you wrote on the board, a little extra hints and helps, vocabulary word, suggestions for literature, some grammar assignments that go along with our Fix-It program. All that to say, easy to use. We wanted it to be easy to use. And I think we accomplished that.
We believe so. I guess after we've sold a few and got some feedback, we can say that with more confidence.
Right. But I also think of the in-between lessons that you were talking about. These in-between lessons that we used to make available with the Student Writing Intensive and the Student Intensive Continuation course that we've discontinued, that didn't have video that went with those extra lessons.
Right.
These lessons, there's video for every lesson. It's like having you show up in their living room, as Michelle says, one of our customer service agents, in a non-creepy way. You're showing up and teaching their students how to write, or maybe showing up in a classroom, and a teacher can use you as a guest speaker to teach those kids how to write, maybe some of the new content. So super easy to use. And then the other thing we wanted to do with this course was to make it affordable. So, wow, Student Writing Intensive, again, I'm just comparing it to that, even though there's no comparison, but here I am comparing. 4 DVDs. This course, 24 what would be DVDs if you bought the DVDs, or 24 videos if you buy it streaming. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a huge difference in quantity, but yet the price is not commensurate for that. The price is only, you can start at $149 for the basic set, and that includes your teacher's book, your student handouts, and the video, whether it be streaming or DVDs. Totally affordable, and there's all your writing instruction. And if it's in a family, you can use that year after year for your kids. If it's in a classroom, we just ask that each student purchase a set of student handouts and the binder that goes with it.
Or the school purchase.
Oh, right, of course. Johnny's going to have to clean a lot of windows and mow a lot of lawns to buy his $29 student packet. But we tried to make it affordable because we do want this accessible to everyone who wants the best way to teach writing, in my humble opinion.
So it's
enjoyable,
easy
to use, and affordable. Yep.
Not quite alliteration, but close enough.
Yeah.
One of the particular small little challenges I faced in doing this was I determined to tell at least one, sometimes more than one, but different joke at the beginning of each of these 144 classes.
Yes.
So I developed quite a collection of jokes.
Yes.
Some of which better than others, obviously. But I thought, wow. And I had to look on the spreadsheet to be sure I didn't tell the same joke that I had told before or in some other class. Because it's kind of hard to remember all that. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids enjoyed, like some of them had siblings in the classes, and they would say, oh, tell this joke. And it's like, no, I can't tell that joke because I said that in the level A class. You know?
Right.
So, but I'll tell it to you later off camera. So we one of the things that we also introduced with the Structure and Style for Student Writing packages is, I mentioned the basic course. I mean, the basic package.
Right.
And that includes just the video, the teacher book, the student book in a box, all ready to go, $149. We have a couple different other
upgraded options.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And one is the Basic Plus, which also includes a year of grammar. And that includes the Fix-It teacher book and the Fix-It student book. Now, you don't actually teach from the Fix-It in the video, but the instructions are super easy to use. Yeah. And you do touch on lots of grammar instruction in the context of teaching writing. So that's really helpful.
And that makes it a very comprehensive grammar and composition combination course. And, of course, the Fix-It has been unbelievably successful.
Yep.
And I was talking to one of our customer service people who said, I got a call from someone who didn't even know we had writing programs. They just thought we published Fix-It Grammar.
Yep. It's a great course. And of course, in this Basic Plus package, we don't just include the teacher book. We include the printed out student book as
Right.
well.
Good.
And then along with that, the new portable walls for structure and style students. So that's a very handy resource.
And how much is that package?
$169.
Oh,
So
so
only $29
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
Can you say affordable?
I can.
And then the third package, and this is the one that we recommend our families or schools to start with, and that's the Premier package. And the reason why we invite parents and teachers to start there is because it has a teacher training course, and it has a teaching, writing, structure, and style teacher training course.
Right.
And what's different about the Premier package is rather than having the DVD or forever streaming option, we just had the forever streaming option. We just believe that that's where things are going, and
Oh, yeah.
we just needed one less SKU. So there it is, forever streaming. And that package, which if you were to purchase each of those products separately, would be over $400. But affordable,
Affordable.
it's $269.
Okay.
So I
Great.
think these are packaged well. I think that it has a very nice presentation, but I also do think they're going to be easy to use and enjoyable. Now, one of the things that I also want to talk about, and I'm sure you're thinking about this as well, what about all those people who have purchased the student writing intensive or the continuation course? Now what are they going to do?
Right. And to be honest, we had to keep this whole thing kind of secret because it was such a huge long-term project
Yep.
with so many people involved. Quite a investment, really.
Yep.
And so we didn't announce we're doing this because we didn't want people to stop buying our regular
Right.
student intensive and continuation products. Otherwise, we would have run out of money and never finished the new one.
Exactly.
But we don't want people to feel, oh no, I bought that. Now this is better. So can you say upgrade?
Yeah. Upgrade. Let's do it. So, and the other thing I want to mention just along that line is the announcing of this product came in November when everybody was pretty much set for their school year,
Right.
at least north of the equator.
Yeah.
Our friends in South Africa and Australia started their school year in January. What are they going to do? But for the most part, most of our customers, and by the way, we took care of you. But for the most part, our customers, they're still continuing with the continuation course, or they're still not struggling, but they're getting that student writing intensive. They're finishing up the school year so that by the
And
time
you
they're
can get full
ready,
value out of having purchased that.
absolutely, because these products are for the next school year. So fall 2020, when you're ready to launch into this structure and style for students, finish your student writing intensive this year, and this summer, go to iew.com/upgrade. That's all it is. iew.com/upgrade. And there will be instructions there of what to do, which basically means this. 2 steps. Return your DVDs.
Only. Keep all the printed stuff.
Keep all the
just
printed
the
stuff if you
DVDs.
have it. And you know what? If you can't find all the DVDs, if you're missing one, that's okay. We just want the DVDs back. And then once we get those DVDs back, we will send you a coupon for either $50 off any package of the SSS, or that's if you return the student writing intensive, or if you return the continuation course, we'll give you $100 off.
It doesn't have to be the same level.
No.
So if someone used, say, for example, the student intensive continuation A
Right.
And returned that, they could get the $100 coupon toward a level B or C.
Right. Or if that student that they use a continuation course for has already graduated from high school, because it's, homeschool moms, we keep our products for a
Yes.
long time. And now they want to use it for their granddaughter or grandson, turn it back in.
Okay,
And you can
go the
buy
opposite
any
way.
level. Yep. Any level. But there is an expiration date on this. Our podcasts sit out there for, months and years sometimes. This does expire November of 2020. So if you are going to upgrade, please spend some time doing that this summer.
And our catalog has a nice kind of little flow chart to say, here's where you are, what's next, what's the next best step.
Exactly.
So if any of the listeners did not receive the catalog,
Magalog,
excuse me.
magazine and catalog.
Magazine catalog, with interesting articles written by you
You-
and me.
I think we bookend it. I think yours is the first and mine is the last.
Yes. Well, so if anyone didn't receive that and would like one, just email, chat, call the office, and we will get one in the mail right out to you.
Link in the show notes. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a beautiful Magalog this year. And as you say, it gives a good where do I go next? If I'm brand new to IEW and I want my students to take a course, if you have elementary students, you're going to start in level A year 1. If you have middle school students, you're going to be in level B year 1. If you are brand new to IEW and you have high school students, no problem. Year 1, level C. Level C is our high school product. Now, if you want to jump into our Structure and Style for Students video course and you've done IEW for a couple years and you just can't wait for year 2 to come out, this is so important. I want to be sure everybody understands this. You can start in year 1 of whatever level your students are at and still learn so many great tips for writing. It's going to be so helpful, and you might hear some new jokes that you've never heard before.
Well, and it's a matter of practice too.
Right.
It's one thing to hear a lesson, try it one time on a source text.
Right.
But our system is set up that kids go through those units over the course of the school year again and again and again.
Right.
Using different source texts. And all the source texts are completely new.
Right.
So, I don't think anyone would be harmed by starting at the beginning of year 1 and working through.
So really year 2, what we recommend to customers, year 2 is for students who have gone through year 1 of Structure and Style for Students. So that's how it's continuing. And like Andrew says, in the Magalog, there's a nice little chart that tells you, wow, what do I do next after I've completed Structure and Style for Students year 2, level A? Well, then you go to year 1 of level B, and it's just a nice little stair step. And now you get to learn about other exciting things like the blue-ringed octopus and Captain Cook and his circumnavigating the globe 2.5 times. Pretty impressive.
Yes, well, there's so much interesting information in these source texts. We couldn't even scratch the surface.
Right.
But, so let's finish up with a quote from one of our students.
Oh, good. I'd love to hear
Eli, he was a high school level student. And he said, "After completing 2 consecutive years with IEW, I am able to write a coherent paper that not only gets the point across, but also sounds interesting at the same time. I know that by the time I finish high school, I'll be able to tackle any writing project sent my way, all thanks to IEW."
Oh, that's great. Yep.
So we have a whole board full of
Yes.
quotes from these kids, and some of them quite pithy, and the smiles
Yes.
that we experienced there in the whole process. So
Yes, if we ever need a group of kids to do anything for us, photo shoot, something silly like our 12 Days of Christmas, we featured a lot of those kids. We just bring them on down and they can't wait to come back down and be with their friends and say hello to you, and just part of our IEW family.
a couple
now.
of them now actually work for us.
It is true.
We love that. Find the talent and
Yes,
rope it
exactly.
in.
Well, in conclusion, let us say Structure and Style for Students, probably the hardest thing that we've ever done, but definitely worth it. At
Maybe
least
the best thing we've ever done.
the best thing, the hardest thing and the best thing. Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, you can subscribe to this podcast in iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, or just visit us each week at iew.com/podcast. Until then, on behalf of Andrew Pudewa and the team at IEW, I thank you for allowing us to partner with you on your journey toward better listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking.